Welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. My name's Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy to be with me. God bless you. And welcome, Tiger. God bless you, man. Welcome, Jack. Lord bless you. And thank you, Tiger, for about the stream. Of course, we had Beauty and the Beast. Uh, and you can guess which one's the beast and which one's the beauty. And uh, she always brings sunshine. So thank you for your kind words. And yeah, so today I was just I don't know, I was just looking at these two guys, these two kids. They're young kids and they live in Pennsylvania. They're second generation. I guess they're considered second generation, no, I think they're considered second generation Americans because their parents were naturalized, one from Turkey, one from Afghanistan. They had beautiful homes. One of them had like a $2 million home, probably the guy on the left. I don't know. But that hairstyle of the guy on the right, that's probably expensive too. I mean, it looks like he's a very style conscious individual. So maybe that, I don't know much about hairstyles or hair. Okay. So I don't know if that's what's in, that's the style. Um, with the bun and that used to be a girl haircut in my generation, but apparently this has become a guy thing now with the bun. I hate it. I know there's lots of good people who got it, but I hate it. For guys, I hate it. For girls, I like it, but it's like, yeah. Anyway, and nobody cares what I think. It's very popular. It's very famous. So no one cares what I think about hairstyles. And in all honesty, you probably shouldn't care what I think about hairstyles. But anyway, one of these guys, their parents has a $2 million home, and one of them, their parent has like a $600,000 home, or almost $700,000 home. So these guys were not poor, they were not hungry, they were not deprived, they were not. Look at their clothes, stylish. Hair, like I said, I mean, that costs money to make your hair like that. And so these guys were not in any sense deprived, lower, but something went wrong somewhere. And apparently these guys went to Turkey. They went to Turkey. Now, what could go wrong there? What could go wrong there if they go to Turkey? I mean, I've been to Turkey many times. Thank you, Emmanuel Shahid. You are absolutely right. And I just want to say amen to what Emmanuel Shahid said. Stupid dirtbags using our system to cause trouble. Absolutely. Stupid dirtbags. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, but I've been to Turkey several times. I really love visiting Turkey. I've been to Istanbul, been to Ankara, been to Anatolia, many places in Turkey. I've been to the Hagia Sophia, which is a church that the Muslims usurped and turned into a mosque. It used to be a museum, but Erdogan said, no, we want a mosque. And so they went, and all they do is they put their Muhammad and Allah discs in front of the paintings of Jesus and Mary and all those. Yeah. So anyway, but you can guarantee when a couple of American teenagers head over to Turkey, I mean, specifically when they come from the background that these guys come from, it could mean trouble. When they have internet access to ISIS information, which they did, which they very much they're very proud of their ISIS connections, of their ISIS inspiration. Um, I think Emmanuel said it best: stupid dirtbags using our system to cause trouble. And so, anyway, so just look a little bit about these guys. I know some people won't put their pictures because they don't want to glorify these guys. I'm not trying to glorify them. I want to, it was Zoran Mamdani who very much liked the saying "Globalize the Intefada," and he refused to condemn it, even when he was being asked by liberal reporters on TV, to condemn it. He won't condemn it. He likes it. And so, well, it was globalized right in front of his house, right in front of his house, where he's living, on the taxpayer dole, uh, in a beautiful Gracie, I think it's called Gracie Mansion. Sounds a little feminine, but Gracie Mansion. Anyway, so it came right to his doorstep. Um, It came right to his doorstep. Okay, the Intifada that he wants to globalize. It came right to his doorstep. Almost, almost turned into, the worst massacre in New York since 9/11. It almost could have done. It could have done that. These two scumbags right here. It could have. Thank God that didn't happen. But it was luck, and it was, I believe, God's blessing, protection, that their bombs did not go off. But these guys are in custody; they're in trouble, and I don't know if you watched the police chiefs. You know what? It's almost worth watching a little bit. It's almost worth watching. The Mamdani, I don't want to, the Bible says there's no power but of God, and the powers that be are ordained of God. And so we need to be careful. I greatly dislike Mamdani. I think he's a snake. But on the other hand, the Bible commands us to pray for him, and we should be praying for him because he affects the lives of millions of people in the most powerful city in the world. And so we need to pray for him as Christians. Might not like to, but it was kind of funny. I don't know if you guys saw this. Here is the
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. First, I will tell you that we are not at liberty to discuss many aspects of the ongoing investigation at this time due to the pending prosecution. The suspects here, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi, are going to be prosecuted in federal court here in Manhattan, and a complaint will set forth criminal charges and the factual allegations supporting.
I'll see if I get the other one. This one might be better.
This is a special
Let me
report.
see. Okay.
Interstate transportation
Okay.
and receipt.
This is what I want you to see.
And unlawful possession of destructive devices.
See what she's wearing on her necklace? See what she's got on her necklace? The Star of David. I can't help but think that wasn't intended as a thumb in the eye of Mamdani, the Israel hater, and his Israel hating wife. She did both press conferences, yesterday's and today's, with the Star of David on her neck. And she is Jewish. Okay, she's not, Christian Zionist. She is Jewish, and she's not hiding it. I'm thinking, wow, Mamdani needs her way more than she needs him. He begged her to stay on because of his weak, flimsy No, he makes me so mad. His anti-police rhetoric, garbage, teenage vomit talk that he's been doing all these years, which he still does. He's still anti-police, unless it's to protect him when the Intifada that he wants to globalize comes to his doorstep, which it did. He needs her and the police to protect him. So anyway, but look at that. She's wearing the Star of David on her neck. And I'm thinking, dude, that was brilliant. That was brilliant that she wore that. And I just imagine the day when Mamdani says to her, police chief Netanyahu just landed at JFK airport and I need you to go arrest him. And I think she's going to put on this necklace. So she'll probably have it on already and just say, oh, stick it in your nose, stick it in your nose. And, but anyway, I just thought that there is such powerful symbolism in her wearing that necklace right there. That is so powerful. And it shows how strong she is and how strong she stands with the Jewish community, which is under attack because of Mamdani and his weak, pathetic, putrid, that's how one person described it, his putrid defense or putrid, I don't even want to call it a condemnation of the attack that happened right at his doorstep. Because he doesn't want to speak against Islam. He never mentioned Islamic terrorism. He won't. No, he won't, because you have to disown the Quran to do that. And he won't do that. But she's wearing the Star of David. And I think that is so powerful, so symbolic. And she wore it at today's news conference, and she wore it at yesterday's news conference as well. So I think she says to Mamdani, says, yeah, you want me to stand next to you to make you look strong? Yeah, but I'm going to wear my necklace. Okay. And so good for her to do that. So anyway, so she talked about these guys and about what they're doing. And yeah, sleeper cells. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows, you guys? I mean, it was on the news today about, in light of what's happening in Iran, that they didn't have sleeper cells, that Joe Biden, gave asylum to Kamala Harris and because she was the border czar, so anything that happened at the border was her responsibility, even though she hadn't been there, like she hadn't been to Europe. But she's responsible for whatever got in. And so, yeah, we'll see about the sleeper cells. It's, yeah, God help America. God help New York. Look, you would think that New York, dude, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this so soon. Right at his doorstep. He wants to globalize the Intifada, and it came right to his doorstep. He wouldn't condemn it. I used to have a pastor, and he said, what you tolerate will dominate. What you tolerate will dominate. What you refuse to condemn will come knocking at your door. And he won't condemn globalizing the Intifada. Well, it came right to his doorstep, knocking at his door. Almost cost a bunch of people their lives. Thank God it didn't. Those heroic police, but almost cost a bunch of people their lives. So I just want to look at a couple things, and just about these guys, about just before I do, I wanted to ask Grok a couple things. And okay, they're actually kind of unrelated to this, but Um, how, how much evidence is there for Muhammad splitting the moon with his finger?
Zero. Outside Islamic sources, zilch. The stories in the Quran, Surah 54 1 through 2. The hour has come near, and the moon has split. Hadiths, like Bukhari and Muslim, flesh it out. Muhammad points, moon cracks in two, people see it, then it rejoins. Some say it was a miracle for doubters in Mecca, but evidence? Nothing. No Chinese astronomers, who tracked the sky like hawks, recorded it. No Indian, Persian, or Byzantine chronicles. No craters, no lunar scars matching the date, around 615 to 620 AD. Modern science? Moon's geology shows no sudden split. It's billions of years old. No fresh fracture lines. So, one religious text, later oral reports, compiled 150 to 200 years after. Zero external witnesses. Skeptics say it's poetic, maybe a metaphor for judgment or an eclipse. Believers say it's literal, and God doesn't need telescopes. Bottom line, faith claim, no hard proof. Same boat as the flying donkey. Beautiful story. But if you're looking for moon rocks as evidence, nope. Does that surprise you? Or did you expect the same pattern?
No, I was pretty sure that it was a bunch of garbage, but thank you for confirming it.
Yeah, no problem. It's funny how these stories get told like they're history until you poke them and they just float away. If you're digging into this stuff, the pattern's pretty clear. Miracles stay inside the tradition. Outside, crickets. Anything else you want to unpack? Or are
Well,
we done with flying dog?
well, actually, there is I believe it's a hadith or some kind of narration that half of the moon actually fell into some guy's backyard. It actually fell to some guy's backyard. Has there been any historical or archaeological evidence of the moon falling into somebody's backyard?
Oh man, that was new to me. Half the moon in a backyard? I mean, if that happened, we'd all be living on a smaller planet right now. No, seriously, there's no hadith like that. The closest thing is a weak or fabricated story floating around online. Some guy supposedly saw the moon split and a piece land near him, maybe in Yemen or Mecca. But it's not in Bukhari, Muslim, or any major collection. It's more like internet folklore, probably made up to hype the miracle. Archaeology? Nope. No lunar fragments in anyone's backyard, ever. No craters from a moon chunk impact. No seismic records, no weird rock samples. If half the moon dropped, we'd have tidal waves, earthquakes, gravity gone haywire. We'd be toast. So yeah, garbage. Fun garbage, but garbage. You hunting for more wild ones? Or just testing how far the myth stretches?
Okay, so um, anyway, I just wanted to show you that that was very so important to know about the. Oh, here it is. Okay, okay, it says splitting. It's interesting to know that all the available translation. Okay, there was let me see. Oops. There, I mean, I did not make that up. I mean, it literally says that it fell into Ali's backyard, and so she may not be aware of it, but um, it says one part remained over the mountain, the other part went beyond the mountain. On that, Allah's apostle said, "The witness of the miracle." Okay, so this is something that really happened. It fell into somebody's backyard. And I heard, insisting in making such a lie, they expressed that what would be thought would be a good story, that the moon split, part of it fell on or behind a mountain, while another part fell in front of the mountain. Okay. So, it did come down to earth. It fell down to earth, and it fell down on, you know, uh, it was somebody's backyard. I mean, they had a big backyard. They had big backyards back then, you know. Things change, and so this is 1400 years ago. Things were so completely different in Arabia. So, yes. Yes, it did say that, by the way. So I didn't make it up. But anyway, she didn't know about it. Anyway, that's not our topic, but I thought I wanted to. Hello, Vigo Bond. God bless. There is a source. Shoot. If I go look for it, it's going to take me a half hour to find it right now. But I do have it, and I did do a live stream about it once, and I pointed out that hadith. Yeah, it is a big backyard. It's a very big backyard. I know that in Australia, people have big backyards. So maybe it was there, even though there's no record of Ali going to Australia, unless there was a magic donkey ride or, something else. Anyway, so, all right, let's look a little bit into the situation with these two scumbags. By the way, okay, he's still working on about number one. Remember, you guys, that according to Shiite scholars, he's going to get 124 quadrillion of of these houris. These are the houris. And if you're wondering, I don't want to keep belaboring the point, but according to Shiite, when you fast the third day of Ramadan, then one of the rewards is that you get domes in Jannah, and each dome has 24,000 houses in it, and or it could be like 24,000 apartments or something like that, but you get 24,000 of these living places. And how many of these domes do you get? According to the Shiite scholars, you get according to the number of hairs on your body. Well, there's apparently 5 million hairs on most people's bodies. And so with the 5 million hairs, and then times, so you got 5 million times 24,000. And then in each of these 24,000 houses, in each house, there are 1,000 beds. And on each bed is one of these houris. And so our friend Houston Euler, he has a very strong calculator. And he, fortunately, and it's a solar powered, solar powered or atomic, I'm not sure, calculator. And he figured out that means you're going to get, at least the Shiites, 124 quadrillion houris. And so this picture only shows 24 of them. Okay, but there's 124 quadrillion. Look how happy they are. Look at how happy they are. All those beautiful, all those birds flying. And you guys, okay, I'm not trying to make more of it than what it is, but look at the birds that are flying up there. Look at the birds flying up there. One of them is white. Okay, look at the ones over here, you guys, on the other side. There's two of them. And what color are they? They're green. Green birds. You know what it says in the hadith that Muhammad said to Aisha that a shaheed, someone who dies as a shaheed, they become a green bird. And so here's a couple of the green birds. So anyway, but according also to the hadith, the Muslim will get 10,000 years with each one of these houris, and then he'd start all over again, And he's got 124 quadrillion of them, you guys. So how long is it going to take to go through all of them? He's still on number one, okay, because it takes 10,000 years with each one. We're not going to be alive when he starts working on number two, okay, because it's 10,000 years per. This is what it says in the hadith. Don't get angry with me. This is what it says. Oh, yes. And then the birds, yes. Okay, and so there's a lot going on here today. Okay, so anyway, but all right, let's get serious now here for a second. Okay, so now this is one of the guys. I believe this guy's name is Kayumi, and I believe he's the one that's from Afghanistan. His family's from Afghanistan, and he dropped the bomb right there. He literally dropped it right there, that bomb, and there's a wick. You can see the wick is lit, and there's smoke on the wick, and he dropped it right in front of the police. And then he went to his friend. His friend is Balat. Balat is the last name. And he went and got another IED, explosive device, and then he lit it. He threw it. So he threw one, and then he dropped one right in front of the police. And the cops, what a credit to New York. Mamdani should never talk against cops, man. Dork. Forgive me, Father. Yeah, he should never talk against cops like he has in the past. He should repent, publicly apologize to the cops for what he said about them, because they risked their lives not knowing what that thing was, if it was a live grenade or what. And they went towards it. They ran towards it to save the lives of the people there. Stupid punk, terrorist kid. Hope he spends the rest of his life in jail. So anyway, and oops. Okay, this is Mamdani's dinner guest today for Ramadan. Mahmoud Khalid, another Israel hater, who was leading all of the anti-Semitic marches at Columbia University. Trump tried to get rid of him, but the liberal judges didn't want to get rid of him, so he's still here, and he's guest of honor at Mamdani's banquet tonight. And yeah, I got a couple of funny things about Mamdani just before we get into the serious stuff. Here's one thing. It says Zoran Mamdani, horrified to discover he now has a job. This is from the Bee, you guys, the Bee. Mamdani announces plan to blame racism after his policies fail. He made sure to prepare the foolproof fallback explanation for the failure of his progressive socialist agenda. Mamdani clarified that his wife only celebrates terrorism in her capacity as a private citizen. So, his wife, just read that again. Mamdani clarifies that his wife only celebrates terrorism in her capacity as a private citizen. Okay. Mamdani condemns New Yorkers for making Muslims throw bombs at them. So this is from the Bee, you guys. It's kind of a humorous publication. So anyway, let's just look at a couple things that some of these guys said. Just unbelievable stuff. Okay, this is the kid, Kayum, I think it is. For both Balat and Kayumi are children of immigrants, and another indication that the assimilative apparatus in the United States is far from perfect, meaning that they did not assimilate. Now, it's one thing if they just came from Afghanistan or Turkey and became like this, or they were like this and then they came here. But these guys were born here. Their parents came from Turkey and from Afghanistan. And these are second generation, and they went to American schools. What are they teaching them in these American schools? What are these public schools teaching them? Uh, you know, I gotta shut up, but and even if we become flawless at vetting immigrants from trouble spots around the globe, the duo's parents are from Turkey and Afghanistan. There's no way to screen for children who will be so profoundly alienated from American society that they will seek to strike violent blows against it. Alienated from American society. And not just that, they also they said that they got a lot of their inspiration online. They did go to Turkey, where they apparently met with somebody there, and were given some marching orders there, and but they said it. They said that they got this online, that they learned all this stuff online from ISIS. They weren't even there. In this sense, I got to be careful what I say. Uh, uh, they were, it says that one of the kids, I think it was, one of these kids, I'm not sure which one it is, but they were taking him into the police van, because they were arrested, and somebody yells out, "Why did you do this?" And the kid says, "ISIS." He literally said ISIS. ISIS inspired them to do this. They're just, and then the police took him into the police station and said to them, "You guys, you have the right to remain silent. You have your Miranda rights and da 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 and all this stuff." And they still went in there, and the guy just wouldn't shut up. He kept on incriminating himself by saying all this stuff about how he was taught by ISIS. He learned stuff from ISIS, and he wanted to kill a lot of people. They asked him, "Did you want it to be, excuse me, like the Boston Marathon bombing?" Because three people were killed at that Boston Marathon bombing, and the guy says, "Oh no, we want something much bigger than that." They wanted to kill a lot of people. What's going on, man? What's going on? On Saturday, a protest was held outside Gracie Mansion, where this is Mr. Mamdani, where I live with my wife on the taxpayer dole. Neither of us were home at the time. This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy, entitled "Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City." "I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city, and anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor to anyone, nor anything new for the million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as their home." So he completely made himself the topic. It reminds me, there was this movie I watched once a long time ago, and there was this mother and her daughter. They were in a car and driving. The daughter was driving, and the daughter was having some problems in her life. And the mother all of a sudden says, I have this health issue that the doctor told me about. I have a cyst on my, in her body somewhere. And then the daughter says to the mother, she says, "Does everything have to be about you? Does everything have to be about you?" And Mamdani here, everything has to be about him. Everything has to be about him. "I'm the first Muslim mayor." And just like everything is victimization. This guy he has learned the left's victimization privilege uh, mantra. He's just so deep in it. So anyway, a bunch of people almost got killed right in front of his house by a couple of Islamist terrorists, and he turns it to his own victimization, that he's the victim. MashaAllah. Okay. But this is what the kid said. Let's see. There was one about where the kid said something. Shoot, where did it go? Okay, is it this one? He says, this isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the prophet, Balant told officers. We take action. We take action. Okay. And then he said this, I think. Says, if I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it. At the police station, he asked for a pen and paper and wrote, all praise is due to Allah. Okay, I pledge my allegiance to the Islamic State. He also used the ISIS slogan, die in your rage. And he directed at non-believers using the Arabic term, the kuffar. That's what the Justice Department said. So this is like, dude, super serious stuff, and it's like, because just to be an egomaniac. No, I'm just kidding. Just, because I come from, I'm first, like, the same situation as them. My dad came from the Middle East, and I was first generation born here in America, and so I kind of felt a little bit alienated from America, because I was Arab. I didn't know very much about being Arab, but I knew that there was something about us. There was something about us that people didn't like. I knew there was something about us that people didn't like, and I was a little bit ashamed of being Arab sometimes. Like my name, Hussein. And when, in class, the first day of class, the teacher always calls everybody's name. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Billy. Hello, Marky. Hello, Steve. Hello, Joe. Hello, Billy. Hello, Robert. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Hassan. When they said my name, they never said it right. And I was so ashamed, because it was just like, dude, they never get my name right. That's why I told them, just call me Steve, so when the guy talks about their alienation that they feel, I kind of felt that a little bit, the alienation, so I know, but they pursued that, if you want to say alienation. I'm not even sure you can, because it seems like their motivation was something else. They just got sucked into this Islamic identity, and their hatred of Christianity, of Christians, of America, of the West. Maybe they watch all these anti-American videos, from the Democratic Party, or maybe they watch CNN. No, just kidding. Not really, but yeah. And then they start, forming this identity that is anti-American, and it's Islamic, and it's got all the rules. Muhammad gave him rules how to go about this. And that's kind of what I wanted to kind of look at a little bit, some of the rules. Here's something that Mamdani said. Yesterday, white supremacist Jake Lang organized a protest outside Gracie Mansion rooted in bigotry and racism. Such hate has no place in New York City. It is an affront to our city's values. Was the bombs an affront to your city's values? And the unity that defines who we are, really? They almost got killed for expressing their opinion. What followed was even more disturbing. More disturbing? Really? That's what you say? It's more disturbing. They threw bombs, almost killed a bunch of people. They tried to kill a bunch, and it's disturbing. That's the best adjective you could come up with. Disgusting. Oh, my goodness. But he had a lot of adjectives about the white supremacy. But about the Islamist terrorists, it's just disturbing. يا باي يا عمي يا عمي تعال بعلمك عربي، بعلمك شوية عربي، علمك كلمتين عربي أحسن من هيك. أنت مش عارف تحكي بالإنجليزي. Unbelievable, unbelievable. And so anyway, let's see a couple of things. Okay. Let's look at some hadiths. How Muhammad paved the way for what happened yesterday. How Muhammad encouraged people to do this. I mean, he did, yeah. It's narrated by Ibn Abbas. The messenger says, the day of conquest of Mecca, there's no more immigration, hijrah. You know, the other day, Imam Dani went on and on about hijrah and how hijrah is central to his religion. And so let all the Muslim immigrants come to New York, you know. And everybody was like, and CNN was just licking his toe jam, man. They were just, you know. But the messenger of Allah said, the day of conquest of Mecca, there's no more immigration. No more immigration, hijrah. This is a Sahih hadith. Sunan an-Nisa'i 41 said, there's no more immigration. Rather, there is jihad. There's no more immigration. There is jihad. So where do these guys get these ideas from? Why are these ideas so in their heads? I said to Ibn Umar, I want to migrate to Sham. He said, there is no migration, but jihad in Allah's cause. Go offer yourself for jihad. And if you find the opportunity for jihad, stay there. Otherwise, come back. Ya boy, Sahih al-Bukhari. Ya boy, Ibn Umar said, I want to migrate to New York City. He said, there is no migration but jihad for Allah's cause. Go offer yourself for jihad. And if you find an opportunity for jihad, stay there. Otherwise, come back. Don't go there just to live in the luxury of the West. No. Go for jihad in Allah's cause. It's narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri that the messenger said, the best jihad is a just word spoken to an unjust ruler. أفضل الجهاد كلمة عادل عند سلطان جائر. Okay, it's a Hassan hadith from Sunan ibn Majah. Remember Linda Sarsour, she quoted this. Okay, and but there's a bunch of other best of jihad. This is one best of jihad. If you're a woman, by the way, your best jihad is to stay home and clean the kitchen, you know, and to go to Mecca. That's your best jihad if you're a woman. Muhammad said that. So The mother of beliefs, verse Aisha said, "O messenger, shall we not go out and fight jihad with you? For I fight in jihad with you. For I do not think there's any deed in Quran better than jihad. No, the best and most beautiful type of jihad is Hajj to the house. That's to go to Mecca." Okay. Muhammad kind of talked out of both sides of his mouth. One day, the best jihad is a word to the unjust ruler. One day, it's going to Mecca. One day, it's fighting in the cause of Allah. It just goes back and forth. If you're trying to make sense of it, okay. I came to the Prophet, "O messenger, which jihad is best?" He said, "That of a man whose blood is shed and his horse is wounded." This is Sahih. Sunan Ibn Majah. So is it a just word, like Linda Sarsoul said? A just word to an unjust ruler? Or is it a man whose blood is shed and whose horse is wounded? Min ahariq dammo wa akar jawadu. Which jihad is best? That of a man whose blood is shed. This is what Muhammad taught. These guys didn't get these ideas from nowhere. A man asked the Prophet, "Which is the best jihad?" He said, "Jihad in the cause of Allah." He said, "Then what?" He says, "Hajj Mabrur." Okay, so here he's saying, what's the best jihad? To go fight in the cause of Allah, jihad. And then the number 2 is to go to do the Hajj, go to Mecca. But to Aisha, he says it's just go to Mecca. Okay. And then to someone else, he says, well, it's a just word to an unjust ruler. And then to someone else, he says it's it, and so quite often says the best is faith and then jihad. So it changes depending on which hadith you're reading. And there's so many hadiths about this. There's so many different bests of jihad. So many kinds of jihad that are the best. Okay, and so that's it kind of leaves contradictions, and a sincere Muslim who wants to follow Muhammad and wants to follow his teaching and believes that and wants to believe that Allah is going to be pleased with him and forgive his sins, and Muhammad has. You can't, you can't abrogate these words because, Allah's eternal speech contradict to other and another. Allah's only explanation is there are 2 Allah. I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more than 2. And yeah, but these guys, they're literally. These guys right here, they're probably going to spend the rest of their lives in jail. They're probably going to spend the rest of their lives in jail. And, I mean, they got thank God nobody got hurt. Thank God those bombs didn't explode. For the sake of the victims. But so these guys don't have murder charges against them. But they have the terrorist connection, their own admission of the terrorist connection. They have their own confessions, taking explosive device across state lines, having the intention of committing murder, because they admitted that they did. They should have just shut up, but they kept talking, and they just made their own situation so bad. It was already so bad, and they just made it so bad, so much worse. And so thank God nobody was hurt. I'm so disgusted with Mamdani's reaction. His self-victimization shows that he's a little man. Shows that he's just a little man. But at the same time, well, we look at this, and I know a lot of people say, shut up, Steve, don't misquote scripture. I'm not misquoting scripture. But as Christians, these words were written when there was a murderous anti-Christian emperor named Nero. And Paul wrote this. It says, let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from the fear of one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of conscience. So that is what the Apostle Paul told us. So we honor the rulers, even though they're unjust. Okay, even though, we don't, and of course, we care less, we're not in New York City, but we need to be careful our words about him. He was elected and he is the mayor. We pray for him that he be saved. The Bible says to pray for all rulers, and he needs prayer more than anybody. Hopefully he'll get saved, come out, and then he'll invite me to go have dinner with him. So okay, so I think that's kind of what I wanted to say tonight. And so let's see, is there something else? Okay, there was several different things that I kind of had in my mind. Let's just look at the news really quick to see, make sure that nothing has happened since we have been on, because things happen so fast these days. Okay, they are searching a Pennsylvania storage facility in connection to the probe. All right. Okay, young people. Okay, here's these guys. It says New York City bomb attack suspects launched a slew of chilling ISIS-inspired slogans and threats after their arrest. Rich Lowry wrote a really good column about it. I don't know, he's a very good conservative columnist. Now, one thing that they said, one thing that they said at the New York Post, which I think is probably going to make a lot of Muslims angry, is they said that this guy was flashing a ISIS salute. See the way he has his finger up? They said that's an ISIS salute, a universal salute for ISIS. Now, I know lots of Muslims who do that, and for them, it means there's one God and stuff. They always do that. But they say this is an ISIS salute. I think it's probably going to make a lot of Muslims mad because they're going to say, no, that's not an ISIS salute. But anyway, All right, you guys. Well, shoot, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. And do we have any Muslims here who would like to come up and say something? If you do, I will go ahead and put this on. And then I'm going to play a song for you because, well, you know what? Yeah. You know what? Police. Uh,
Is a designated foreign terrorist organization responsible for deadly terrorist attacks across the globe and has taken credit for mass interstate transportation filed in the Southern District of New York against two individuals, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi, in connection with that attack. The defendants are charged with attempting to provide material support to ISIS, using a weapon of mass destruction, transporting explosive materials, interstate transportation and receipt of explosive materials, and unlawful possession of destructive devices. The complaint sets forth the factual allegations supporting those charges. As alleged in the complaint, the defendants were inspired by ISIS to carry out their attack. There should be no confusion about what ISIS constitutes. It is a designated foreign terrorist organization responsible for deadly terrorist attacks across the globe and has taken credit for mass casualty attacks in Europe, the Middle East, and right here in the United States. And as alleged, both defendants have admitted that they acted on Saturday because of ISIS. As Kayumi was being placed into an NYPD vehicle following his arrest, a person in the crowd asked why he had done this. As shown on NYPD body-worn camera footage referenced in the complaint, Kayumi responded with ISIS. And at the precinct, after being advised of his Miranda rights and waiving those rights, Kayumi said in recorded post-arrest statements that he had watched ISIS propaganda on his phone and that his actions that day were partly inspired by ISIS. The complaint also details statements made by Amir Balat after his arrest. En route to the NYPD precinct, Balat made spontaneous statements without being questioned by NYPD officers that were captured on body-worn camera footage. He said, "This isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the prophet. We take action, as well as, if I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it." And later, after waiving his rights, he requested paper and wrote a message declaring in part, "I pledge my allegiance to the Islamic State. Die in your rage, you kuffar." Now, "die in your rage" is a commonly known ISIS slogan, and kuffar is an Arabic term that refers to non-believers. He also told investigators that he had hoped to carry out an attack even bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing, which he noted resulted in only 3 deaths. These statements, as set forth in the complaint, make clear that this was not random violence. This was a planned attack motivated by extremist ideology and inspired by a violent foreign terrorist organization. The complaint alleges not only why the defendants acted, but how. Preliminary testing has determined that one of the devices contained triacetone triperoxide, or TATP, also commonly referred to as Mother of Satan, a highly volatile explosive that has been used in multiple terrorist attacks over the last decade. As we have previously discussed, the NYPD
Okay. Um, so they can be given 6 months probation. Yeah. Um, all right, you guys. You know, somebody has asked me to do a song. Okay. You guys don't get mad at me. I took a secular song, a famous secular song, and I changed the words to make it Christian. But not only did I make it Christian, I made it Arabic. And so it's an Arabic Christian song. But it's a song you might recognize the melody. But if you listen, it's a little painful. You'll hear you hear me playing a mean guitar solo. So since somebody asked, I'm going to play it. So, okay.
رجل عسلي المحب والسليم اشتريت لنا درجة إلى السماء لما ترجع في السحاب مجد الآب والملائكة اشتريت لنا درجات إلى السماء واشتريت لنا الدرجة إلى السماء
Well, no, I can't hear it. I don't know if you guys, I don't know. Can you guys hear it? Shoot, I don't know. Could you guys hear that? Because I couldn't hear nothing. So I don't know if it was coming through. So we'll go ahead and try it again tomorrow, you guys. So, oh, you did hear it? Could you guys hear me playing the guitar? I mean, when I was playing the guitar, could you hear it on the video? Because if you do, I'll play just the guitar solo so you guys can hear the guitar solo. Oh, you heard it? Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and play the guitar solo just so you can hear my my rock and roll endeavors here.
واحنا نازلين في الطريق.
Can you hear? No, did you guys hear the guitar part? All right. So anyway, all right. That's all that matters is the solos. Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. If you haven't done it, oh, by the way, a guy named Robert Plant saw that and he wrote to me, and so I don't know if it's the real Robert Plant, but if it was, I'm scared of him, man. I don't, even though I pray that he gets saved, but anyway, thank you guys for being here. If you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. Have a wonderful night. God bless you guys.